Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjara Sharakaya Shakshu Militam Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Nadati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupa Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sam Jivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagaspate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshvari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamani Haripriye Vanchakalpa Tarubhasha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna. So first of all, my apology. I prepared a question, but I didn't send them out. I spaced out or something. They were ready. I was totally convinced that I had sent them out, and I didn't actually. Upon closer scrutiny, I didn't send them out.
Actually, it's helped because we are so busy with
Yeah, it's funny, because I remember preparing them, and sometimes your the mind works so fast. Sometimes you're thinking, okay, I've done it in my mind. It implies that I have done it physically, but mine is too fast. Sometimes we confuse the mental plane and the physical plane, you know. So sorry about that. So obviously you may not have time. Anyway, it's quite a straightforward chapter. So tell me about this chapter, by the way, because we didn't touch it together. But please fill me in. What would you say in a nutshell?
So basically, like chapter 14 reveals basically how the living entity is controlled by the material nature.
It's funny because I don't hear you well. Huh? Trying to understand. It doesn't come out from the speakers. I guess I have to change my cable here. Go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me, Prabhu?
Yeah, but faint. So what happened
yeah,
is doesn't come out from. I got nice loudspeakers here, but I get the cable is obsolete or defective, and it only comes out from the computer itself, which is.
last time also
Oh,
same.
okay. Now I can hear very clearly, Goloka.
Me, you can hear. I think
Now can you hear me,
she
Prabhu?
has some problem with the speaker last time too.
Who, me?
Vignesh.
Oh, okay. So speak,
I'll
Vignesh.
do one thing. Can you
Oh,
hear me,
yeah,
Prabhu?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's on your side, Vignesh.
Can you hear me, Prabhu?
I can hear you, but it's distant. It's faint.
I will just change my speaker, Prabhu. I'll just change
Okay.
my speaker.
Okay. So you want to sum up a little bit, Goloka?
Well,
This 14th chapter, let's say. Uh,
yeah.
what's the title of it?
The 14th chapter, the free modes of nature.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, like it was what I recall is this, how people act in different modes. Is it due to material nature? Is it the mode that people act differently? Some in the mode of like in the goodness, that people are very peaceful or very,
Yeah.
they're always like, very sane and very, happy, so people in the mode of goodness. And people in the mode of passion, they always have unlimited desires, unlimited desires, just want to fulfill all the desires and want to enjoy this material world, sense gratification,
Yeah.
And people in the mode of ignorance, they're completely ignorant, they just engage in all kind of lower activities, sinful activities, like,
Okay.
drinking, sleeping, and
So
and
what's the connection? Of course, Chandra must have covered that. What's the connection with the 13th chapter? There's a beautiful verse that links it up to the 14th chapter. 13:22, I give you the clue. Purusha prakriti sto hi bhungte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangosya sadasa joni janmasu. We are prakriti, jiva bhuta mahabaho, para prakriti, we are, but we act as purush. Though you notice in the 13th chapter, Krishna dares even to call us purush, even though we're prakriti. So it's so much it's embedded in us, and this purusha bhiman. So 13:22 is the link. Even though we are prakriti in essence, we want to enjoy, and thus, what is the price to pay as soon as you want to enjoy separately from Krishna? 13:22, Vignesh, what happens according to 13:22 if you want to enjoy separately from Krishna?
We are put into the cycle of birth and death.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. We contact the modes. And what's the meaning of contacting the modes? This is heavy. It's a heavy bill. Huh? Sadasat yoni janmasu. We're going to hover. We're going to up off from one branch to the next in the 15th chapter banyan tree, from one species to the next, 8.5 million pieces of life. Sometimes sat, asat, auspicious, inauspicious, shub, ashub. That's the price to pay. People don't realize the heavy bill. So then, like you say, the Goloka, Gunatraya Vibhag Yoga. Vibhag means division. Gunatraya, the yoga dealing with the divisions of those gunas, Gunatraya, those three gunas. Very interesting. In the beginning, I didn't teach that one, but did you notice in 14.1, Prabhupada says we should study this chapter. Did you notice? If one understands this chapter through the process of philosophical speculation, it will come to the understanding of devotional service. Did Chandra spend time on this? I always do when I teach that section.
14.1, no.
Yeah,
you should have covered that.
I think we are discussing last time on 14.1, like this entire chapter seems very much empirical, like we can easily understand it in one sense, like about modes of material nature. At the same time, Krishna says that this is very supreme knowledge.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm giving to you is very supreme wisdom, best of all knowledge. So why is that Krishna is speaking in that way? So we're discussing on that part.
Okay.
Of this particular thing, and then we discussed on the thing why it is called supreme knowledge, although it appears very simple in one sense about three modes. It's easy to understand.
Yeah. So it's interesting that specifically in 14.1, Srila Prabhupada uses the term philosophical speculation. And oftentimes we are under the impression that it's bad. Philosophical speculation is bad. It will come to an understanding of devotional service. And later he says we should study this chapter. Actually, it's 13th chapter, sorry. I was going to say 13th chapter says we should study under the guidance of Guru. But I mean, I don't know if Chandra did, but let's ponder a little bit. Why does he say we should understand this chapter through the process of philosophical speculation? I thought it was bad in the first place.
Is it 14.1? I don't see it there. 14.1.
Yeah, I mean, you have different guitar?
72?
No, it's 14.1. Look it up. Right in the beginning of the purport. If one understand this,
Oh, the purport. Okay. I thought you were saying the verse.
no, Prabhupada is as purport as given purport. It doesn't speak.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
one understand, see, it's right there. in
Yeah.
the purport. So let's draw a conclusion because it's troubled waters. We have to, because people say, well, what's the big deal? Philosophical speculation. But we tend to confuse two things here. What are those two things? Mental speculation and philosophical speculation. What is the difference?
Mental speculation is based on our own understanding without taking the support of scriptures.
Exactly.
Philosophical means based on the scriptures.
Exactly. You get it, Goloka?
Yeah.
If everything is known by dint of psychological action of the mind, then it's bad. It's bad. It's mental. It's whimsical. It's merely random knowledge, hazardous activity of the brain. Who cares? I've got a PhD. Let me speak about it. But the guy is eating meat. So what's the use? It has to be based on Shastra, Guru Shastra Sadhu. Then we may ponder, we may angle out different points of views. Even acharyas you have seen, sometimes they differ a little bit. Vishwanath Chakravarti is much more technical than Prabhupada, for instance. Does it mean he's better or Prabhupada is less intelligent? No. They angle out differently. So yes, as soon as you, let's say we talk about, one time I was invited to a symposium on interfaith religion. The topic was, is love of the nation part of love of God? And there were Hindus, I was representing Hindus. There were Jews, there were Christians, and Muslim. Actually, it was organized by Muslim. The guy was nice. He was a nurse, a male nurse, I befriended him and then he invited me over. So, and I was the first one to speak. And of course, what do you think I said? Did I say love of nation is part of love of God? What would you say, Goloka?
No.
Yeah, exactly. And Vignesh, what would you say?
Yeah, not as an independent thing. Like we cannot connect. Like if it is Kshatriya, then it's different thing. Like we have to have that love in one sense, but not as an independent thing without God.
Yeah, exactly. So I pummeled down my point, of course, quoting Shastra, left, right, and corner, and everyone was stuck in the back, and they never invited me over because all the other guys, they say yes, definitely, it's part of it. I was the only one differing from them. I was quoting Shastra. They kept quiet, but they were not happy with me. And at the end of it, the guy shook my hand. And he said, okay, thank you please have a good day. And I'll invite you back. He never invited me. So, you know what I'm saying? I differ drastically from them. Drastically. But I was quoting Shastra, so I'm safe. Okay, it was just a little reminder in case Shastra didn't cover that. Chandra. Okay, so let's recap a little bit. Like she said, she's right, Goloka. Would you like to recap a little bit, Vignesh? 14th chapter.
Yeah. Yes, bro. So basically, in 14th chapter, Krishna is basically revealing how the living entity is limited, very much controlled by the material nature.
Yeah.
So like three modes like goodness, passion, ignorance. How is bound by the three modes of nature, and what are the qualities of each of the mode, and how at the time of death, depending on the modes of material nature, we get at a particular kind of body. So
Yeah.
Krishna dealt with all these different kinds of things, everything revolving around three modes of material nature.
Yeah. Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam jajatanti karivaram, according to your thoughts at death. So chapter 13 has explained that the Jiv, the Nityabada, is distinct. We are Jivatma, we are from Prakriti, yet we are entangled in it. So we are trapped, we cannot deny, within this kshetra we discussed in 13th chapter. So 14th chapter basically is going to reveal in details how the Jiv is limited, right? Limited and controlled within his kshetra by the shackles of Prakriti. One of the shackles, the modes. We cannot escape. And there's a verse in the 11th canto, Uddhav Gita. You may know this verse. The modes affect everything, everything, just like water. If there's a flood, water will filter, will find its own level. Do you think water is going to avoid your room, a particular room in your cellar? No. Everything, whether it's got gold inside or junkyard, water will inundate everything. So the modes permeate the whole Brahmanda. Not only Brahmanda, the whole material energy. So the modes will affect the Shastra you study. Now, it's a verse from, I don't know the Sanskrit, but I just remember. The Shastra you study, it has to do with the modes that govern you, the way you eat, your friends, your drinking choices, your Sangha. Is it Asat Sangha? Is it Sadhu Sangha? Your environment, where do you live? I live in the country. I used to live in big cities around the world for years. The time of the day you do things, how do you function? Goloka, do you function at night, late at night, early morning? It differs from one to the other. The activities you perform, how you meditate, even in terms of religious pursuit, on what is the object of meditation, the way you meditate, the way you chant your mantras, your samskar, and the 10 samskar throughout the life of a Nityabada, of a conditioned soul. Are you doing the samskar? First of all, who is doing the samskar? Even as devotees. The birth, where do you take place? Your place of birth, the date of birth. Everything is under the modes. You cannot escape. There's no question. So now what's going to happen? Lord Krishna is going to inform us how to attain freedom of the modes. This is a mystical chapter in one sense, because we can use the modes to get free from the modes. What is the example that Prabhupada gives? Beautiful analogy. You may have heard it. The analogy of the thorn. How does it go, Goloka? The thorn. Let's say you have a thorn in your foot. How do you get it out?
I don't know. If you have thorn in your food.
Yeah, Prabhupada is very straightforward. He says, you take another thorn.
Is it?
Well,
I
let's say you have a thorn in your foot and you have another loose thorn. Then you can use the loose thorn to get out the one inside. So that's easy to understand. Which mode are we going to use to break free from them? Which mode? Which guna are we going to use? Sattvagun? Sattvagun is the only guna which is somewhat conducive to become free. So that is why in the 11th canto also, there's the example of the staircase. Do you know? Vignesh, the Uddhav Gita. If you strengthen your religious duties, it will strengthen your mode of goodness. And back and forth. If you strengthen your mode of goodness, it will strengthen your religious duties. And in this way, the example is given in, it creates a staircase, you know. You strengthen one, it fortifies the other. You fortify the other former, it strengthens the latter. Like a staircase going up. And of course, you may say, well, at one point we discussed in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, at one point, especially from Raganuga Bhakti onwards, you get a mixture of Sandini and Samvitsari and Ladini. And then you can start really to start loving Krishna. And this is a gift. This is a gift coming from your group leader, your Ragatmika Bhakta, coming from Krishna himself, coming from Srimati Radharani. So definitely, once you get those drops, it's totally beyond even the material mode of goodness. It's Vishuddha Sattva. But up to that time, it's way down the line, for at least for me, we should cultivate the mode of goodness, because that will reinforce our religious duties and vice versa. Do you have any question on this one?
Prabhu, I just wanted to ask one thing.
Yeah.
Does time also get influenced by the three modes of material nature? Time?
Yeah, it's not in that list. Huh? I found the verse 11, 13, 4. It's
Okay.
not in the list. There's 10 items mentioned. Because, be careful, time is Kala Salp, Kala Shakti, Kalosmi, Lokakshya Krit Pravrido. Krishna says, I'm time. So in the hello, remember, when Mahavishnu casted lens on Pradhan, within that lens, what is there? What are the ingredients of that lens within? You find the Jiv, you find the Svabhav of the Jiv. When I say the Jiv, I mean the Chitkana, the particle of Jiv, Jiv Shakti, yeah, Chit Shakti. It's particle, Chitkana. Along with the Chitkana, you find its Svabhav, its intrinsic material conditioning that he has been carrying since time immemorial, ever since he came down in this material energy. And then you find Kalasap, Kala Shakti. So that's also impregnated, that's also cast along with the Jiv within the lens. That lens is Shambhu, actually, Shambhu Tattva. So it's not there, Vignesh. It's not in the 10, because time, even temporal time, is within the jurisdiction of Lord Krishna. Nothing to, it doesn't affect. Time is the engine of the universe. It cannot be affected by the modes because it's directly Krishna. Kalosmi, Lokakshaya Krit, Pravido. Is that okay?
Yeah. No, I think you are referring to 11.13.4, right?
Yeah. 11, 13.4, exactly.
So as per that, time, like depending on time, the particular mode of nature becomes prominent, like depending on a particular time, right?
Yeah, the times of the day.
Okay.
The times of the day. The times of the day. Well, we know within time. Now, if you want to get into the nitty-gritty of it, we know that there's some. It's called muhurt. This Brahma muhurt is very auspicious. They are saying it's 1.5 before sunrise. It's extremely auspicious. Now we know the story of Diti and Kashyap. Remember, at dusk it's Ashub. It's Ashub, the ghost, all goblins, they come out and stuff. So you don't do. You may do, of course, you do Gorarati. It's fine, but it's not as great as Brahma Muhurt. So definitely there is some portions of the day which are much more conducive. Definitely. I think we lost her. She's going to come back. Okay, so he's going to tell us how we're getting there today, how to attain freedom from those modes. So he has explained early on in the chapter. First of all, he has glorified this knowledge, like you said, it's extremely powerful knowledge. 14.2, by becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature, like my own. And then he's going to explain again the relationship between Prakriti and the Nityabada and himself. We have seen 14.3, 14.4, he impregnates the Jiva into Prakriti. Mahat Brahma is called. Then we connect because we want to enjoy separately. The verse is there, 11.5.3. What is it? Vayam vitiya binivishitasya syat ishadapetasya vipayaya smritihi. We want to enjoy. It reverses our constitutional position. We become competitor of Krishna. We connect with Prakriti, 13.22. And thus we are bound up by the modes. And then we discussed at length the breakdown of the modes according to different categories, happiness and etc. So Lord Krishna in the 14th and even in the 17th chapter also is going to discuss the different manifestations and characteristics of the modes and the results of action pertaining to the modes. Okay, that was a little recap. So let's move on. Where did you guys stop?
Text 17.
17. Okay, go ahead. You're back, Goloka? I think we lost her. Oh no, she's here. Are you you have muted your mic, huh? Goloka.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah. Sorry, I had to change my computer because I wasn't iPad and it's not.
Yeah. Perhaps it's
You
obsolete.
gotta use my laptop.
Everything, you know, the sadvika of this world, even computer are subjected to that. You know, actually, I was told they even they manufacture not only computers, cars, so that they break down within 2-3 years. Is it true, Vignesh?
Mhm.
They purposefully
Yeah.
manufacture things in this world so
Yeah,
that
I
it
heard
breaks
that.
down. It breaks
To
down.
break down.
So you can
Yeah.
go into the repair guy and pay, and finally you get fed up and you buy another computer.
Yeah.
Because my father was telling me, can you imagine? I mean, talking about the 40s, the 50s, he was telling me even in those days they had water engine. That guy will be shot in no time, or he's going to be given a very fatty envelope. You keep quiet. Even my father was telling me after the war, they came up with water engine. They came up with unusable tires. Unusable. Goodyear will shoot the guy point blank. You know, they want to sell tires. Who the hell are you to propose an unusable tire? It doesn't work in this world. You have to make money. That's the name of the game.
Mhm.
They will not allow you, even though you may have found it, but one way or the other, you will be put aside on the.
That's why Srila Prabhupada business
Your voice is breaking off.
if you do business, you
Your voice.
if you do business, you can help. Oh,
Be careful. Your voice is echoing like anything.
is it good now?
No, it's fine, but it's on and off. Okay, go ahead, Vignesh. 18 or 17, whatever.
Yes, Prabhu. Text 18. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds.
Yeah. So, by the way, I have to keep in mind your questions, even though I get them to you quite late. So Gachanti, twice. Gachanti means in 18, twice it's mentioned. Gachanti.
Yeah.
To go. Huh? So that's a very important point because people of this day and age, you may have noticed, they refuse to accept you can go down. Did you notice? And when you speak to a layman, yes, you can go up, but you cannot go down. You know, Tishtanti, you stay on the same orbit, mode of passion on earth, basically. Punya karma, it's a kshetra karma, and the wheel of time. But here it says very clearly, Urdvam Gachanti. Urdvam, everyone wants to hear that. Urdvam, yes, I want to go up. But be careful, my boy. It says Ada Gachanti. You can also go down. Andam Tama Pravishanti Yevidyamu Pasate. Remember? Sri Show 9. Asurya Namate Loka Andenatama Savritaha. Ishro 3 also. Yes, you can go down. You may go down. Be careful. So there's varieties of activities here. We should be aware. And other factors as well. Krishna explained, I just quoted that verse from Uddhav Gita. So Agama, even the Shastra, we're going to study why people are studying Quran, Bible. We study Bhagavatam. Why? How come we don't study? We don't study the same book altogether? The apa, water we drink, we discussed. And similarly, we could say the Brahman, the universe is also broken down according to the modes. Which portion of the Brahmanda we are living, Goloka? Are we living up? Are we living down?
In the middle, eh?
Yeah. Jaganya Gunavritti Sta. According to how we are sta means situated. How we are situated in the modes, that's going to determine our vritti or guna karma. So it's scientific. It basically has nothing to do with religion in one sense. Prabhupada used to say it's a spiritual science. It's a scientific approach to life. It's not only scientific, it's absolute. It's absolute. So they have to get the point. We're not just passing on a new philosophy, it's a new religion, please pay attention. No. We're dealing with the real stuff. It's Sanatan Dham, Bhagavad Dham, from day one. From day one of the inception of the universe. This is the method. Even prior, the previous creation, that was already the method. Nothing to do with time, place, and circumstances. It's Sanatan Dham, Bhagavad Dham. And if you want to add up anything, you please stop me. Let's see. I may have Vishwanath on this one. Let's see what he says. Sometimes it's just conquer the same as Srila Prabhupada. I guess, yeah, definitely. There's totally what do you call it? Cut and paste here. I wish Srila Prabhupada. 19.
Okay. When you see that there is nothing beyond these modes of nature in all activities, and that the Supreme Lord is transcendental to all these modes, then you can know my spiritual nature.
Yeah, so obviously that was one of my questions. It sounds like we discussed, Vignesh mentioned 327, not bad. I was thinking of another section in the 5th chapter. Remember in the 5th chapter, okay, try to find the section, Goloka. It sounds exactly the same as a previous section. We're talking about doership here. That's the tattva, doership.
It's just like 19, you said?
Yeah, I'm talking about 19. It rings a bell with the previous section of the Gita. I don't know if you recall.
13:5.
I'll give you the clue in the 5th chapter. Try to always link up. It's called cross-reference.
Mm-hmm.
It's always good you can weave a link, a thread within the Gita and after even from the Gita to Sri Shu and onto the Bhagavatam. This is the same thread going in Tattva. You may study systematically from page 1 to final page, that's systematic approach. But also you may study once you are a little more Season, you may study it thematically.
Is this 514?
Exactly. Well done. Excellent. Excellent. This is the same topic. Do you agree, Vignesh?
Yes, Prabhu.
Huh? Exactly the same. 515. 15. Nadate kasachit papam nachevam sukritam vibuhu. I'm not nadate. I don't accept, Arjun. Your pap, your sukriti, nothing to do with me. It has to do with your agyan. According how you are agyan, how you are bewildered by tamagun, by moha prakriti ashritaha. Then you're going to develop different heaps of pious deeds or mispious or misdeeds, impious deeds. Nothing to do with me. And 14, I don't create, you cannot, the jiv cannot create activities. No way. You cannot create the fruits. You cannot induce others to act. What is this nonsense? Krishna is very clear. Talking about doership here. It's connected to a theological approach, namely the predetermination. Is everything predetermined in life or not? That is still a valid topic today in religion. Is everything predetermined or not? They're going to write books about it. Krishna is clear. 3 verses. Finish. The jiv, we discussed in the 5th chapter whether he evacuates, whether he speaks, whether he walks, he does nothing. Remember? Nothing. Prakriti kriyamanani gune kamani savashaha. Only the modes are acting. Nothing. It's like the passenger of the cart, of the chariot. The passenger is totally subservient, unfortunately, to the, what you call it, the parsalati and the charioteer. Even though he's the boss, he's giving orders, but he's depending on the chariot's motions, movements. The horses are drawing the chariot, and the horses are the senses. The rein is the mind, the charioteer is the intelligence, and the soul is captive within the chariot. This is the philosophy. We should not be bewildered by all this propaganda. So we should always be very vigilant. And it's very clear, 19, Mad Bhavam. Yes, not first time we discussed, way back. Mad Bhavam we discussed in 410, remember? Very often Krishna says, Mad Bhavam, 210, I think, or 410, sorry, 410, then 2 in the 2nd chapter, remember also? 251, I think. Mad Bhavam, you attempt to my nature. Even in the 8th chapter, remember? Mad Bhavam, 9th chapter also, I believe. Mad Bhavam. So we are talking about, now we're getting to the end of the 14th chapter. We're going to talk about how to get free from the modes. We have discussed the consequences of associating with the modes. That's bad. Even goodness to some extent. Buddha-Jan Prabhu used to compare the goodness to, I gave you the example before. Remember? He gave a beautiful analogy. It's not Srila Prabhupada, it's Buddha-Jan. He used to associate goodness with the airport. You understand why, Goloka?
Airport, why?
Try to figure it out. He used to say the goodness is the airport. I will tell you after, but first try to get it right. Even Vignesh can also do. I'm sure you know. I must have given you before.
Perhaps from the airport, people, things come in and go out. Nothing stays in like permanently. Like it's like our mind, right? When we attach something, when we attach some sense object in our mind, like we hold on to it, and that can lead to passion and ignorance. But when we are not attaching anything in our mind, it's like some things are coming out from, and some things are letting it out. So it's like it is conducive for spiritual purpose.
You're giving a different slant to it, and that is to your credit, because That's not easy to give a different slant on someone else's example, but your slant is quite valid. His
I don't know
was
what Guru-
yes. Go ahead, Goloka.
I don't know what Guru Jan Prabhu said, but I know when you go to the airport, you feel relief that okay, I came to the place where I can reach the next destination.
Exactly. That's more in the line of Buddhajan. But anyway, what Vignesh is also saying, it's quite appreciative also. Yes, along those lines, Goloka. He said, yes, why do we go to the airport? Only one sole purpose, to fly out. You're not going to start settling down in the lounge, even though you have 10 hours transit time. You're not going to start to put curtains on the windows and start to put a sofa and a bed and a kitchen. No, you're just transiting. If you miss the plane, you are as far from your destination as if you had stayed downtown. Buddhajan was very crisp with Pierre. What's the purpose? Is to fly out. So mode of goodness is valid, just like the staircase I was telling you in the 11th canto. Fly out. Otherwise, you are as far from Delhi, if you live in Paris, for instance, as if you had stayed in downtown Paris. So the goodness itself, it's a springboard. Otherwise, in and of itself, if you don't use it conducively to, like we discussed, to increase your religious duties, and in turn, those religious duties will increase further your mode of goodness, then you are as far from the spiritual world as if you had stayed downtown, which is the mode of passion and ignorance. It's a very, very beautiful example of Bodhidharma.
Like a vantage point, we could say, right? Yeah, like we can see things from we can see a lot of things. We can see a very holistic perspective when we're flying from the plane. It's like we are not very much restricted in our narrow-minded conceptions.
Exactly, Prabhu. So where we are
20.
Yeah, so one thing perhaps 17, well, I guess you covered. Sadvat Sanjayate Gyanam. I remember Buddhajam Prabhu used to quote that a lot. Sadvat Sanjayate Gyanam. This line he used to quote it a lot. In other words, knowledge will bring about mode of goodness. Sadvat Sanjayate Gyanam. People who are boasting that they are in the mode of goodness, if they have no knowledge, it's just a big lie. It's baloney. Goodness will spring off the mode of goodness. Nothing else. Otherwise, it's at best is vidya, Vedic knowledge, but even Vedic is not sufficient to make it. Remember, Trigunya Vishaya Vina, Disigunya Bhavajuna. Or most of the time, it's avidya. They are broadcasting avidya in the name of PhD and whatnot. It's not even Vedic. Vedic separated from Krishna would be, aparavidya, we could say. Now what we are interested in too is paravidya. Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhakti Shastra. So that was just a little reminder going backwards. Now back to where we 20. Yeah.
Text 20. When the embodied being is able to transcend the three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and the distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life.
Yeah, so here, I think I mentioned about Vimukti. There's a question. I've been jumping over, but we'll go back a little bit. Question number 5, talking about Vimukti in 20. Gyan mrityu jara dukhe vimukto mrityamashnute. What's the meaning here, Vimukti? How do you understand vimukti here? There is mukti and there is vimukti. Shukadev makes a clear difference in the second canto.
Being freed from.
This is real mukti. When we say vimukti, it's not moksha. It doesn't have any impersonal connotation. It's not mukti or moksha. No. What is that verse? 210.6. Mukti idvanyata rupam svarupena vyavastiti. Yes. Mukti idvanyata rupam svarupena vyavastiti. This is vimukti. Once you are situated into vyavastiti, situated into real vimukti, means you are rid of the gross and the subtle body. Prabhupada gives the example, if you remove your coat, if you remove your shirt, you are naked proper. You are naked proper. You are stark naked. So once you remove your gross and subtle body, the soul is left proper. This is the vimukti part. So it means to say that unless and until we are nirgun, Brahmabhut, Atmabhut, this is unfortunately we remain sadhaka, we remain apprentice. Krita sadhya bhavet sadhyo, krita sadhya bhavet sadhya bhava sa sadhana bida. Unless and until we have revived bhav by proper execution of the senses engaged in devotional service, we remain sadhaka, we remain apprentice. That's still within the modes. Just like, if you drive a bike as a young child, but you have the rear wheels at the end. Did you notice? You don't know how to drive a bike, to ride a bike. If I remove those two rear wheels, you fall off on the spot. So that is why this chapter is there, because that's the demarcation line. As long as we are doing bhakti within the modes, it's great. I mean, the Acharya has mentioned, yes, definitely. Of course, Vignesh can define very, very neatly. His whole paper was about this. All the intricacies, you should read that paper, Goloka. All the intricacies, he has written a beautiful paper on the Yoga Ladder. All the intricacies of the technicalities between the different types of bhakti. It's beautiful paper. You should. I'll send it to you. I really enjoyed that paper. Thank you for that.
It was an entire explanation based on Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur.
Yeah. No. It's very extremely. Of course, to my mind, I like it. I like it. Some others may not like it, but for me, I like it. He knows my mind. He knows my mind. So, and we are talking about getting free here. So this is what we want, basically. Otherwise, we may know the whole Gita by heart. What's the use? I mean, it's great. It's great. It's adding up, okay, but we're not free from the modes. Like we say in English, the proof is in the pudding. You cannot pretend. You cannot pretend. Farina parichiyate. If you're not free from the modes, okay, you're still trying. That's all to your credit, but you haven't reached the demarcation line. Anything you want to add up, Vignesh, on this one? So it says here, Amritam Ashnute, even if you are free from the modes, you can enjoy within this world. You basically, it's called Jivan Mukta in Sanskrit. You are already liberated. You are still within the body, but you are detached from the body. Just like the separated shell of the coconut. You can hear bang, bang, bang. It's banging inside. It's separated from the shell. So this is what we want. This is, we discussed, remember in the Sri show, we can live, number 2, we can live hundreds of years in such Ishavasya Midam Sarvam, such a consciousness. Na karma na lipyate, 414. We're not bound up at all. We become a karma. Okay, so now let's hear the questions of Arjuna.
Okay. Arjuna inquired, "O my lord, by what symptoms is one known who is transcendental to those modes? What is his behavior, and how does he transcend the modes of nature?"
Yeah, so it's quite obvious. I ask you for a reminder. We covered that before. It was differently phrased, I agree. But remember, Goloka, perhaps long back, Arjuna came up with similar types of questions.
Yeah, how does he eat? How does he walk?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So the Acharyas mentioned, Prabhupada also mentions that this question, this part of the Gita is easier than the second chapter. So here we are dealing with, first of all, let's hear I would say, the answer of Krishna, and then we will discuss at length. So perhaps you can cover also 22 to 25. Prakasham cha, pravritim cha, Shri Bhagwan Vach. You can cover those 3, 22, 23, 24, 25. So we can, yeah, because might as well hear the answer of Lord Krishna. Then we will discuss.
You reading, Vignesh?
Yeah, as you wait, because you can share it,
Yeah. Text 22, 25. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal towards the desirable and the undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all mental activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature."
Yeah, it's a reminder. We have covered in the 5th chapter similar verses, remember? I would say it's a roundup, it's a sum up of, I would say an extract from the 2nd chapter, from the 5th chapter. So 22, I don't know if you noticed, 22 stands out amongst this cluster of verses. What's so special about 22 here? It's a bit different from the rest. Shri Bhagwan Uvach, Prakasham cha, Pravritim cha, Moham cha, Eva cha, Pandav, Arjun, Dveshti, Sampravritani, Na, Nivritani, Kangshati. So we are talking about internal symptoms here. See? Internal symptoms. Krishna is answering 21 of Arjuna, the symptoms. But those symptoms are internal. And the rest of the answer, 23, 24, 25, it's external, having to do with, the behavior. But unless and until we have the symptoms that manifest in our system, we're not going to be able to behave accordingly. It has to be first acquired from within our system. or being, then we can act accordingly. Otherwise, we are mityachar, we are pretender. It doesn't work long, you will be discovered.
Oh, can I have a question? They said he does not hate illumination. Can you explain a little bit that?
Oh yeah, that's a very important point. Thank you. Okay, let's hear Vignesh on that. Because very interesting. This is it's a very broad-minded point pertaining to the modes, sorry. You want to venture into the answer?
Oh, you can explain it.
Okay, so see, it rings a bell like Bhaktira Samrit Sindhu. Remember, what is the adhikar to become a devotee? Did we cover Bhaktira Samrit Sindhu together or not?
No,
We didn't do Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu yet.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting mixed up with other groups. So we'll do it, don't worry. After that, we have done Sri Show, and after that, we'll do Bhaktira Samrit Sindhu. We covered Sri Show and Gita, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the adhikar? You may remember from your personal knowledge. What is the adhikar to become a devotee? The adhikar means eligibility. We shouldn't be too attached, not too detached. If you're too attached, you become a bogi. If you're too detached, you become a jnani. So we should be in the middle. Rupa Goswami is very clear on that. In the same way here, we don't take party. We don't take party. We don't take sides, I mean to say. He who doesn't hate illumination, who's going to hate illumination in the first place? No one. Illumination, prakasham, illumination participates of the mode of goodness. But we don't hate illumination. We don't also hate attachment. We remain neutral. As soon as you take part, as soon as you position yourself in attachment or in detachment, you aggravate your case. You follow, Goloka?
Mm.
You have to explain now, before I go any further, why we should not take part, why we should not take position even in this world. Oh, I like it. Yes, it's more of goodness.
You have to be neutral or something.
Yeah, because of course.
Goodness also doesn't help.
Well, of course, I don't want to,
goodness.
yeah, of course, we just started off this lesson today by saying goodness can be a thorn to remove an inferior thorn. That's great, but be careful. This is 435. Remember, 435 is very clear. Even this 435 is so important. It is repeated twice in 1847. Krishna says, remember, don't be attached to the rules in and of themselves. It's not sufficient. You may have an accident even on Royal Road. Remember that verse?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be attached to Krishna. 35, let's see. No, not 35. No. Not 35, sorry. It's in the 4th chapter, let me tell you. It's be careful here.
38?
No. It's no, it's not 35 at all. I blew it. It's not at all. It must be before beginning of the. You know, Vignesh, that verse. You may have an accident even on Royal Road. Yeah. Don't be attached to guidelines pertaining to attachment and aversion. This is the verse. Forgetting where I think it's 4th chapter somewhere. You know, very important verse, and it rings a bell with 1847. Krishna repeats himself. So, in other words, if we want to be attached to something or to someone, let's be attached to Krishna. But don't take position within the mode. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. This is the issue at hand here. Just like a devotee is not too attached, not too detached. It does things according to utility is the principle. I can use this. The question arises, can I use it for Krishna or not? Yes, no. No, I reject it. This is his modus operandum as a devotee. Can I use it? No. Then I discard it. Another guy will use it. He's got a different criteria of renunciation. What is the verse of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya? Beautiful verse. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yogam Shikshatam Eka Purusha Puranaha. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yogam Shikshatam Eka Purusha Puranaha. Mahaprabhu came to teach us the proper application of Jnana and Vairagya. And it's very nicely putly done in that verse. Look it up. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Whatever doesn't foster Krishna consciousness, this is Vairagya. It may not be equated with another practitioner of a different path. An impersonalist will have his own definition of Vairagya. That is why there's a difference between Vairagya and Virakti, by the way. So whatever doesn't foster Krishna consciousness, we should discard. And not according to the criteria of mode of goodness. No. The criteria for us is, can it be engaged? Can it foster my Krishna consciousness? And it's very particular because you may say, well, money, for instance, devotees sometimes are good with money making. They can engage money in Krishna consciousness, even big amount. They're not burned at the wings. They know to manipulate money, which is Lakshmi. Another fellow in Krishna consciousness, you give him 10,000, 20,000 on the account, it goes to his head. He cannot regulate money. Better he doesn't deal with money. That is why Krishna will keep him a little poor, because he knows he's going to mishandle it. And the other guy, he knows. I know one devotee, my Guru Bhai, you may know Guru Gananga, of course, Kulaka. How much he has, the guy is loaded.
Yeah.
Is he still loaded as today?
Yeah, it's still.
I remember, I know him for 35 years. He was always, not always, before he was like us, regular mainstream devotee. Then he got the knack of it. He made lots of money.
You fly airplane.
Well, I don't know about now. I think since my Guru left, at least he's been telling me that he got so much despondent, he could not function even. Of course, that's what he says. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, some devotees, even from one devotee to the next, the criteria may slightly change. How does it foster our own Krishna consciousness? This is the definition. Jnana Vairagya. I just quoted that verse. It's a beautiful verse. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Otherwise, what is the drawback if we set up the mode of goodness as a criteria? What is the drawback? Yes.
Mode of goodness conditions one to happiness. We become satisfied in our own comfort zone.
Yes, exactly. Excellent. We become small timer. Remember Krishna 245, Tregunya Vishayavida, Nistregunya Bhava Juna, Nirogya Kshamatmavan. Nirvanva Nitya Sadvasto, Nirogya Kshamatmavan. Don't be attached to safety. Don't be attached to coziness, even in Krishna consciousness. That's still Anishtita Bhakti. Taranga Rangini, you enjoy the waves of the byproducts of Bhakti. You got stuck. You may get stuck in the mode of goodness. You know what I'm saying? So you may be, okay, very properly married in the mode of goodness, but you're so much in the mode of goodness, you cannot separate from your wife. You know what I'm saying? This is oftentimes the state of affair in India. They feel so much in the mode of goodness with your wife at home. Everything is cozy, everything is sattvic to the extreme. But actually it holds them back. Isn't it true, Goloka? You look at yourself, you at 17, 18, you broke free, you run away practically. That's what it takes. Like a gopi. Like a gopi. You know? That's what it takes. We're not here to linger in this world with the help of the mode of goodness. That's another trick of Maya. Prabhupada used to say, I've got big projects because I've got big men to engage. You have to keep them busy. People like Tamal Krishna Maharaj, you cannot give them just a small temple to run. He needs a lot. He needs to, his kshetra, his field of activity is huge. He's got a huge body. He's got a huge potential. You have to give him a lot. Otherwise, you know, idle minds is devil's workshop. So here, 19, all these verses, he has shown us, Krishna has shown us the samsara, the bleak aspect of samsara. It's very bleak. Why? Because we are associated with the modes. Sadasajoni Janmasu. So now Krishna is telling us, this is the liberation that I'm telling you. Vimukti. Drashta, and the jiv should be drashta. Drashta means the seer. I had a question on this. And let's not be entangled in the modes, because the modes will condition us to stay down here, even the mode of goodness. It will change into, you know, agent, action. We'll discuss in the 18th chapter all these things. Object. In other words, we should be the third party. I don't know if you play this exercise within yourself sometimes. I'm sure you do. You are the third party looking at your life. Do you do that sometimes with yourself?
Yeah,
You
goodness.
You see yourself acting. You know, and sometimes it happens to me. I mean, even yesterday, it's very clear. I mean, Krishna is so sharp. I was doing puja, and I didn't have a good consciousness, I remember. Then when I clear out the wilted flowers at night, I'm putting them to bed. Sometimes the paduka mixed up with the flowers. Because I've got big flowers in my garden, so you know they're so big and paduka are so small. So I'm looking for the paduka, and it's like silver paduka. I'm looking for in the basket of the wilted flowers. Then as I'm looking for it, I drop the paduka. So it's getting worse now. I'm already searching for the paduka. As I'm looking for it, I found it, then I dropped it. It's getting worse. I don't have my glasses. I have to find my glasses. And it's dark. It's dark, you know. So I'm using a torchlight, and I can see Krishna is showing me that I'm under the modes. So I see myself struggling under the modes to find the paduka. You know, it's like, so I guess you do that exercise with yourself, perhaps. You should do it. It's interesting. You see yourself acting and struggling.
Yeah.
So you understand that actually that third party looking at you, this is the soul, the drishta, 19, the drishta. This is the seer. Parandrishva nivartate. What is that verse in the, not Parandrishva nivartate. It says 1 to 22 perhaps. Shiyante Shasakramani, Drijva Evatmanishvare. Drijva Evatmanishvare. When you see yourself, not only you become nirgun, but once you are reinstated Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate, you are breaking free from the modes. You are now steeped into the scientific application of Krishna consciousness. It's Vigyan, it's no more Gyan, it's Vigyan. Then, Drijva Evatmanishvare, you see the chain of reaction breaking free. It's like the shackles, the chains breaks apart. It's severed. And then you see yourself, the Drijva Evatmanishvare. You are the third party. The second party is you under the modes, Nityabada. Nityabada is 327, is thinking, well, I'm making it, I made it. No. Everything is under the modes, my dear sir. By dint of false ego, you're thinking the doer. No. Ahankar vimudatma. So we have to always go back to the third party, that is us, the Drishva. Drishta, 19 or 20, we discussed. Okay. Anything to say, Goloka? Or... So here it sounds quite similar as, remember, Stita Pragya, how does it go? Stita Pragya Sya Ka Basa, remember? How does he walk? Describe to me a Stita Pragya, remember? Yeah. So we could ponder, why is Krishna, sorry, Arjuna is asking again. What do you think?
Yeah, but because this chapter deals mainly with the free modes of nature, so.
Yeah. And also because he's so keen on knowing, he wants to know. This is a very sanguine, very pertinent topic. This is the main topic for us.
Mm-hmm.
We are, okay, I'm dealing about Rasa Lila, Prabhu, don't you know, I'm Gopi Bhav. Well,
Still under the
my
mode of
dear, are you Nirgun, my dear friend? Manjari, I'm into Manjari Bhav, don't you know? Are you Nirgun? No, I'm to Gopi Bhav, don't you know? Did you break free from the modes? First question. Otherwise, once again, we know the modes are fighting among themselves. 5 hours down the road, we'll be in heavy tamagun. And now we're quoting Shastra left, right, and corner. You see the same guy 10 hours later is totally into heavy tamag. So, you know what I'm saying? This is the study at hand for us. This is the work at hand. This is the work.
It takes so much. I don't know. It's very, very difficult for a person.
Well, it's mentioned, Goloka,
mode of nature,
it's mentioned in 26.
Somehow we are affected by it.
We're coming to the answer. Answer is 26. We don't have to. What is the solution? Look at 26.
Yeah. One who engages in full devotional service and failing in all circumstances, at one transcends the modes of material nature and thus come to the level of Brahman.
Yeah, so we don't have to separate, now I'm going to work today, I'm going to work how to break free from passion. Tomorrow I'll work on how to break free from tamas. No. All we have to do is to increase the burner under, the gas burner under our own bhakti. And like Vishwanath says, we have to go from guna bhuta bhakti to pradhani bhuta bhakti. From some devotees, you notice their bhakti is on the back burner, isn't it? And all their prescribed duties, varnashram duties and all, they're in the forefront of their lives. Chanting, yes, if I have time, I'll chant a few rounds, definitely. But practically chanting 16 becomes in a secondary consideration. This is called Guna Bhuta Bhakti.
Yeah,
Pradhani, yes, go ahead.
sorry to. Yeah, you finish your sentence first. Sorry.
And Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti would be the other way around. No, my bhakti is in the forefront, and my prescribed duties, Vanashram prescribed duties, I'm doing them. I'm a bit struggling. Sometimes I'm a bit at fault. My wife is screaming on me, but at least I stick to my Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti, to my principles, my sadhana. That's better, much better. That's Pradhani Bhuta. And of course, much better. This is 1426. This is mentioned Avyabhichalini Keval. That's Keval. That's Avyabhichalini. Uninterrupted Bhakti. So the closer, what is the solution for us is to increase our Bhakti. At one point, Bhakti is so much loliam, ardent. It's mentioned in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It's I'm forgetting the Sanskrit. It is flame. It's flaming. You know, the flame is highly bright flames. It's very much shining. It's burning flames of Bhakti. Then automatically the modes are gone. Kapil Dev gives the analogy of food that you digest in your system. We had a big feast yesterday, day before. So much food. We eat so much compared to a non-devotee. Isn't it? Sometimes I look at the place of devotees, I say, it's not possible. It's not possible. Sometimes I notice guests are opening eyes like this. They cannot relate. They cannot relate. I've seen. And the devotee will go for second shot. People are just, they say, it's not possible. How can they manage? So Kapil Dev he says that just like intake of food become digested, in the same way the modes will dissipate like this. And he says even the mind will become, the material mind will dissipate. It will be digested in the fire of our bhakti. You know, it will be used as a fuel even. It's a fuel. So devotees are good at that. Eating so much prasad. Everything is digested. Anything you want to say? You wanted to say something, Goloka?
Yeah, I want to say, like, if one engage in full devotional service, sometimes, when you're in association of a temple, you know very well, there's all kind of devotional service, and devotees perform the devotional service in different modes,
Yeah.
and you have to constantly associate with this. Sometimes it affect you because, you just do as everybody is doing.
It's very true. You may chant Hare Krishna in the mode of ignorance, in the mode of passion. Like the other day with my wife, we were listening to the jap of Srila Prabhupada. Did you hear his jap? Have you seen the speed?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. I mean, it's very clearly articulated, but I cannot even come close to that speed after 40 years. I mean, I'm sorry, but I fall short. I don't have this intensity. And I guess it's my Maya, I guess, definitely. But Prabhupada is intense. I mean, it's not only 5 minutes, it's 2 hours intense nonstop. It's speedy, it's well articulated, and it's basically it's pure goodness. And I can see my chanting is not pure goodness. I chant, so great, okay. But you may chant, you may take prasad in the modes, Tamagun, Rajagun. You may read, you may study, you may teach in the modes. Whatever you do, it's not that the activity is in the modes, but you yourself, your application of this anga of bhakti, unfortunately, at that given time, is under the modes.
So I'm just thinking, like for pujari service, I see some of the pujaris, they will just go quick, and just do the service and without attention, and all this thing. And it's not like a judging it, but these people are
Of course,
doing
of
the
course,
same
of course,
service in the same mode for so many years.
of
How
course,
does
of
Krishna
course.
accept it?
Familiarity brings contempt, you know. And just we discussed way back, Kanishta Adhikari means you may be even worshipping, you may be a pujari yourself. But as soon as you step out from the place of worship, you fall into Maya, you forget Krishna, you forget God, you bicker, you quarrel with others, and you cut hair, and oh, I'm no, it's my duty, I have to go back. Let me do my duty. It becomes prescribed duty. Even in a manner, I was told they get paid to do the arati.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry to say, but it's no more bhakti. Oh, Prabhu, can you do the 6 o'clock arati? It's 15 quids, by the way. Finish. The story is over. Story is over. It's a paid work. It's a paid job. It's a mode of goodness, okay. What is your job? I'm a pujari for ISKCON. Okay. How much you make? Well, 2 grand. Whatever, 1 grand. It's a paid job. There's no more bhakti. So leaders have to be very careful with these new fads, getting paid. And you want to make money? Okay, go out, sell some books, and do a little job, teach English, teach French, teach Japanese, or whatever, a little business on the side. But as soon as you mix the two, it's dangerous. Do you agree, Vignesh?
Yes, true. I was just thinking like do brahmacharis become pujaris or only grihasthas become
No,
pujaris?
oftentimes they may replace, but no, pujari means pujari should, I'm sorry, brahmachari should not stay in the temple.
Yeah.
I've been telling the same here in Umayapur, all these young guys, they just joined yesterday. I told them this, it's full of girls. If you stay here, there's nowhere around you're going to get married within the 2-3 years. Brahmachari means on the road,
Preaching.
and you come back for the Ajamastami, Balaram, Radhastami, okay, you have a bowl, you jump in the air, nice prasad, nice kirtan, and off you go. Otherwise, remember, the story with Shrutakirti? Way before he got married, Prabhupada told him out of the blue, you never go in the kitchen of LA. Could not. Why is he saying that? Cannot relate. He was the longest serving servant. Then, few years down the road, he was helping. They were in LA. He was helping in the kitchen. He met his wife, beautiful girl, and they fell in love. And then he even dared to say to Prabhupada, "Oh, Prabhupada, I think I'm going to quit your service." Can you imagine? Servant of Prabhupada. And then it clicked. Oh, he had told me years ago, don't go, never serve in the kitchen of LA. Prabhupada knew he's Trikalagya. He met his wife there. Story is over. Then, of course, after that, he quickly got the point and he kind of resumed his service. Didn't he, Goloka?
Yeah.
But
and
this is
very well. It's same community. He was there for some time.
Yeah. So you understand, Vignesh? Puja means basically grihastha.
Now just discussing on that thing because pujaris are paid, right? So
yeah, at the manner.
Pujaris normally are not paid, right?
They shouldn't be paid. It's big maya.
I'm just thinking, some pujaris are really sincere, but but they need the basic maintenance if they accept some.
So then they should put it differently. They should
Some
not,
stipend. We call it stipend. Yeah.
Yeah, they should not say, okay, Prabhu, can you do 12 hours? Oh, can you replace me for the noon arati? I'll give you 15 quids. That's.
No, that's not.
Okay, now the TP gives him 1,000 at the end of the month, a stipend. Prabhu, please donate. It's like a donation. It's a different story.
It's different. Okay. Yeah.
Please take a donation. Like you're giving me a little something for this course. It's like a donation, basically.
Yeah, because some people, they like to dedicate their life. I think they need some finance
No,
to.
no, no, no. I mean, if it is done in that way, okay, Prabhu, please
Mm,
take 1,000. And we're very happy with your service. We have,
mm.
you have 2 kids.
Take
Please,
responsibility. Yeah.
yeah. So then, obviously, we should accept. Bungita, takina bungita, Ishavasya midam savam. We should take our quota. Of course, Krishna is not a fool. He needs some money. Otherwise, he's going to end up working outside, coming only on weekends or something. So, but giving like each LT, please take 15 pounds. It's
No, that is not
it's happening. I heard it's happening at the moment.
happening. I never knew that.
I heard from different persons. So
Which
I
places?
haven't gone there in a while, but
Which places happening? Europe?
back to the manor.
Oh, the man. Ooh.
So it's full of money there. There's like 5 million sterling pounds a year. You understand? 5 million sterling pounds a year.
Oh yeah, that is not like.
This is a roaring temple. I mean, it's a different league there. Okay, so let's see. So 22 internal, 23, 25, it's external. We discussed, don't be how do you say, affected by praise, dishonor, all these things we discussed. Gold, lap of earth. The bottom line for us is accepting what is favorable for Krishna consciousness. So that's why, personally, I notice as soon as I steep myself in wisdom, in knowledge, in studying, teaching, then it tends to, for me, I become detached from the workings, the pushings of the modes. So you should be expert at what does it take for me, not for her or for him, for me. What does it take to, which Anga Bhakti the most will help me to become detached from the pushings. So after some years, you have to concentrate on that because it works for you. It works for you. Some people, they have to go to 6 months a year to Vrindavan or whatever it takes. The other guy has to get married. He likes to maintain a big family. He likes to work. He likes to, to engage his body, his mind to make money. He gives a considerable amounts to his ISKCON, whatever it takes. So now we're ending the chapter, and this is the end result. We have to transcend the modes. How? By Bhakti. 26.
Oh, we 27 now.
Did we do 26?
Yeah.
So very important. By the way, you have to learn it by heart, I think.
26.
And Vignesh, don't we have to learn it by heart, this one?
Yes, Prabhu.
You have to learn it by heart. So it answers, by the way, it answers the question of Arjuna in 21. How does it transcend the modes? This is 26. We discussed, remember, the process of knowledge. You must have done it with Chandra. 13, 8 through 12, remember? It's called the process of knowledge. How to gradually elevate one to the platform of equanimity, you engage in full devotional service immediately. And then 26, immediately, you transcend the modes. Avyabhicharina, but it has to be Avyabhicharina. Unmixed, uninterrupted, without fail. So this is a matter of, like the bottle. The bottle can be half empty or half full. I told you before the conundrum. How do you remove ink from inside the bottle? By not emptying the bottle itself. Without emptying the bottle itself. How do you remove the ink in there? You're not allowed to remove to empty the bottle, but you have to remove the ink. It's mixed. Vignesh?
I'm thinking.
He's so intelligent. that-
See it, but you have to remove the ink, pouring water. That's
Yes, this is, I mean, it's like you guys are so advanced, but be first degree. My son would know is children are on the first degree. Be in the first degree of life for once. Don't be figurative here. You cannot empty the bottle. It's got ink in there. You have to remove the ink. This is exactly 1426. This is the direct process of transcendence. More you serve Krishna exclusively, less opportunity you have to serve the modes. So if you keep on pouring fresh water within that mixed water with ink, at one point the ink is going to come out. Do you agree or not?
Yeah.
But don't stop in midway. Keep on pouring. In other words, keep on exclusively serving Krishna, even if you don't like it at times because you're under the modes. Sometimes you may like it. Sometimes, oh, I'm sick and tired. I'm tired. I have to sleep, Prabhu. Leave me alone.
The master me was a good.
I'm yawning all the time because
Tired, I know.
we went to bed 2 o'clock and I'm
Yeah,
yawning.
no.
Still now I'm yawning like anything.
Yeah, me too. I went to bed 2 o'clock, then I had to wake up at 4 to dress the deities. So
Oh, no. That's a different layer. That's a different layer. See,
that was really tiring. Oh
of
God.
course, you should. Even the TP, he told us to take a few days off. So, and immediately Brahmabhuta Prasanatma and Ashwachati Nakangshati, same story. You reach Brahman. Nirgun, Brahmabhut, Atmabhut, it is the same level. All these guys, the Brahmavadis, the Mayavadis, they take, they're trained to drill the breathing and they try to engage in Omkar, studying, tedious study of Vedanta Sutra. For us, it's all in one go. You get close to Avyabhachalini Yoga. Then number one, you become Nirgun. Number two, you're on the Brahmabhut. You are Brahman realized. Aham Brahmasmi. In one stroke, Krishna says, 828, remember? In one stroke, you bypass all the other path, and plus you get the end result, respective end result of all this path. You follow?
Yes.
Mm.
So this is all, Prabhupada is so sharp in one process.
Mm.
Okay, so let's finish it off. 27, this is very important verse.
Text 27. And I am the basis of impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness.
Yeah, so this first line is extremely quoted by Prabhupada. 10:12, Param Brahma Param Dham Pavitramidam Uttamam, Arjuna is saying. Param Brahman. And remember we discussed in 14.3, 14.4, what are the three types of Brahman? Let's have a quick recap. The three Brahman conceptions, what are the three? Goloka, you remember? 14.3, 14.4 perhaps.
Yeah, that's what he was thinking. Industrial species are made with members.
First one is okay. Let's start with us. Jiv, Aham Brahmasmi. Okay, we are Brahman. Mame Mantra Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, 15.7. We are Brahman. We are Chitkana. We are Chit Shakti. We are Paraprakriti. So we are Brahman by all means. We may be Anu, Brahman, okay. We're not Vibhu, okay. But we are still Brahman. We are a spark of big fire. That's one. Number two, explain now Brahman in terms of Maha Brahman. Dinesh, you want to explain this one?
Yeah, like Krishna explains before, right? Mama Yonir Mahat Brahma.
Yes,
Like Prakriti is also considered a Brahman because it is a Shakti of Lord.
yeah. So this, it's called Mahat Brahman, is being impregnated by the Supreme Brahman. In other words, Para Brahman impregnates Maha Brahman. It's very interesting. Try to be graphic. Let's put it this way. The Para Brahman, 10-12, is impregnating the Mahat Brahma, Prakriti, with the Anu Brahman. Try in this way, you get the three Brahmans in one sentence. Try to remember the Param Brahma, Param Dham. This is 14-20.
The Param is Krishna.
Yes, that's 10-12.
And
Param
the
Brahma is impregnating the Mahat Brahma, 14-3.
Prakriti.
Prakriti is called Mahat Brahma, technically, with, and the sperms, we could say, the sperms, the Chitkana. This is us, Anu Brahman. So the
That's
three
why-
Brahmans are there in one sentence. This way you always remember for life.
Yeah, like Chandra also was asking, how can we say we are Brahman, you know?
It's very clear. In one sentence, you gather them all in one sentence.
Then Vignesh answered it nicely that we have free Brahman.
Yeah, of course. He was putting a show. He was drilling answers out of you, perhaps. No?
What question exactly he asked, Vignesh?
I already answered my own questions. What are the three Brahman conception? I think it's mentioned in 14.3 or 14.4. 14.3, I believe. And the Param Brahma, will impregnate the Mahat Brahma, that is Prakriti, with
The Anu Brahman.
Anu Brahman. So all
Very
three are
nice.
Brahman, but different categories of Brahman. We are Anu, and Krishna is Vibhu Brahman. So
Nicely explained, Prabhu.
yeah, you always try to visualize. Right? This is Napoleon used to say, a small drawing is worth 1,000 words. So always try to visualize and to reduce in a simple formula. So here we know the story: gold particles, gold mine, personal assistant of the king. It's a long purport. The personal assistant of the king. How does it go? And you know this example? There's 250 analogies in the Gita. You should, as possible, you should know them all. Huh? The personal assistant of the king, he acquires the qualifications. He eats after the king. He eats practically the same food. He lives next door to the king, nice room, nice bed. You know, practically the king gives him his own clothes. Okay, I got a new set. Please take my old set. Finish. He lives practically on the same footing. So Brahmabhut means we are freed from material upadis. Sarvopadi vinigmutam tat paravina nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchate. As we practice, we serve Rishikesh, master of the senses, then sarvopadi vinigmutam. In other words, that is why on a very high level, it's mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there is no difference between bhukta, and bhakti. It is the same roots. Did you notice, Goloka? Bhakti gives the word bhajan, it gives the word bhukta and bhakta. We are serving the bhukta as bhakta through bhakti. You cannot say Shiv Bhakti. No. You cannot say Indra Bhakti. No. Grammatically, it's a mistake. Bhakti goes only for Krishna. You cannot say Shiv Bhakta. It's a grammatical mistake. It goes only for Krishna. Bhaj, this dhatu, it's only for Krishna.
But what is the people who are devotion for Lord Shiva, how you call them?
Then you may say devotee of Lord Krishna, but technically you cannot say Shiv Bhakta.
Shiv Bhakta, we're gonna say?
You cannot say. It's a mistake. That word, that root word, bhakti, bhukta, bhokta, bhakta, bhakti, it's for Krishna. You follow?
But I heard that all the time people say Shiv Bhakta.
Yeah, it's a mistake. Just like I don't want to mention names. They call Mataji Prabhu.
Yeah.
It's something. It's just like in French, you have gender. You say la voiture. Voiture means car. You don't say le voiture. La means feminine. Car is feminine. I don't say le is masculine. Gender is feminine for car. If I say le car, it's a mistake in French. So you don't say Prabhu to a Mataji. Prabhu is a masculine gender. If you want to glorify a lady, you say Mataji. Actually, the term Mataji is higher than the term Prabhu, if you ask me, in terms of glorification. She's a Mata. She's one of the 7 mothers. It's very praiseworthy.
Even in Iran, sometimes say Prabhu, you call you Prabhu, you know.
Yeah, even gurus I've seen doing that. So,
Why
I
they
mean,
do?
because I guess they don't have, which is, I would say, irrelevant compared to their level of bhakti, but they don't have a firm grasp of Sanskrit grammar. Do you agree, Vignesh?
Yeah, I find it like some people maybe hesitating to say that. I don't know why, because especially in India, when I see when I discuss on some online forums, if I call someone Mataji, normally they say, no, don't call me Mataji.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Yeah.
not Mataji.
It's
Yeah.
a very
As
good
if
point.
I'm
Feel
trying
that you're
to
putting
lower
age
them.
in.
It's a very
Yeah.
good point, Vinay. There's one lady here. Her name is Gorangi. She's at least 72. She hates it. She gets on my. I don't do it anymore because she hates it. She don't call me Mataji. I mean, she's 72. When am I going to call you Mataji? You know, they're ashamed. They don't want to be reminded that they're going to bear a child, or I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on. I don't get it. I don't get it. Okay, the girl is 15, of course, not 15, 20. Even Prabhupada used to say, at 4 or 5, the girl already has a motherhood propensity. My wife was telling me she was so young, she was already nurturing her small brothers. She was 5, 6. Mother had so many kids. She had to take care of the latest boy, the last boy. She was already 5, 6. So, and still she had already this motherly nature.
Yeah, this is a problem. Like a 70 years old or 60 years old man is calling like a small girl Mataji. Doesn't sound like in India, especially people.
Yeah. No, even in the West, Videshis don't like it. Even these kind of ladies I've seen. So I mean, okay, you say, okay, call her by her name, Gorangi, Devidasi. I noticed that many girls don't like it. But it's very, I mean, of course, Indians can, I guess, further appreciate because it's a Indian term,
No, they want to appreciate it. Call a younger person.
Yeah,
Like
they will say, no, wait a minute, I'm young here. I don't even have a kid.
yeah.
They say, you're going too fast. Okay, so Avyayasya, it says here in 47. So Yena Svarochisha Vishvam. You know that verse, Vignesh? Svarochisha. It's mentioned in the 2nd canto. Everything is happening by Svarochisha. Svarochisha means the glance, the personal effulgence of the Lord. Brahma's Jyoti 424 we discussed. Huh? What is it? It is the effulgence of the body. So Brahma is saying in that verse, I think it's 2nd canto 2, 5:11, he's saying, Yena Svalochisham Vishvam, I create after the Lord's creation by his personal effulgence. In other words, Sarvam Kaviram Brahma, everything is resting on Brahman, not only in the spiritual world. Prabhupada says, Shukdev Goswami says in the 5th canto, The Brahman reflects on the sun, then the sun reflects on the moon. Why the sun is bright, is shining so brilliantly? Because it's a reflection of Brahman. Then it reflects off on the moon. You follow? Everything is resting on Brahman. That is why Hiranmayana Patrena Satya Syapayitam Mukham. Shri Show 15 is requesting, please remove that glaring mukh. I want to see your mukh, your face. Remove that effulgence. So fire, all these things, whatever we pertains to electricity, illumination, it's a reflection of Brahman. The fire, the moon, the firmaments, the stars, you name it, the twinkling stars, all this. This is reflection of Brahman. So this is the final word, 1427. Krishna says, Mamanohi Pratishta. Finish. Story is over. I'm behind. I'm the Nimitta Karan. So even the Brahmavadi, they are so proud. I'm Brahmabhut now. But little do they know that actually, well, they are Brahmabhut, okay? So you should be using that level to engage in pure bhakti then. Just like the four Kumars. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
They had entered Vaikunt. They were on the threshold of Vaikunt. They were pure Brahmavadis. Just like in 255, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Prajati Yadakaman, Savan Patan Manugatan. It says they were able to not to partake into the sensory connection with the sense object. They were totally not indulging into sense gratificatory processes. They were Atmaram, yet this is the Atmara verse. I remember 1710. Atmaramacha Munayo. They got shaken by, namely for them it was the smell of the tulsi. They were shaken. Even in a Brahman realized level, they were shaken. Itam Bhuta Guno Hari. Hari his qualities are so much transcendental. Even they can shake those guys, the Brahmavadis, steeped in wisdom, steeped in Atmagyan. So this is what we have to tell them. This is the last word. So for us, it's automatic liberation. Even liberation is byproduct. It's a byproduct. It's a byproduct. It's byproduct to pure bhakti. We have seen on Bhav Bhakti, Moksha Laguta Krit, they deride liberation. Can you imagine? Bival Mangal Thakur, Mukti Devi would come and knock on the door. Can you imagine? She's knocking on the door in Vrindavan. He lived 7-8 centuries, Bival Mangal Thakur, Lila Shuk originally. Can I do some service? No, it's okay, I'm fine. Even Mahaprabhu would read his book. So it starts from there. We have to be honest. Bhakti starts there. Before that, we are just apprenticeship. We are just practicing. You have seen an apprentice carpenter, apprentice optician, apprentice mechanic, apprentice plumber, apprentice gardener. We are apprentice bhaktas, sadakas. We're not even, full-fledged sadakas, actually. The full-fledged sadakas would be the good mechanic, the one who is seasoned in his work. We are apprentice. And then, when do we become sadakas? Real sadaka, means nirgun. Can you imagine? Bhakti Thakur used to say in Harinam Chintamani, a Kanishta sings on the level of Namabas. Can you imagine? A Kanishta Adhikari sings on the level of Namabas. Namabas means you are struggling to avoid the offenses. We're not talking about namaparad here. Namabas. Kanishta. So, we have to engage all this sadvidim pitilakshanam, those 6 exchanges of bhakti. So in other words, to sum up on this chapter, goodness is not the qualification, yes, but it helps. Let's put it this way, it helps. Just like if you're a good guy to start with, you're a good person, it's going to help you to become Krishna conscious. Already you are moral, you have a good behavior, you never stole, you never lied, you have a nice upbringing. So definitely it positions you nicely when you start Krishna consciousness. But still, look at Kushakrat Prabhu. I don't know if you remember Goloka. Kushakrat Prabhu, he joined in 69 in Boston. He used to sleep in the shoes. Giraj Maharaj, in those days, he was not even Maharaj. He told us the story. They wanted to kick him out. He's sleeping purposefully in the shoes. Can you imagine? 69, ISKCON Boston. He's sleeping in the shoes day and night. The devotees got fed up and said, let's get rid of him. Prabhupada, well, give him another chance, He left the world. He became a topmost Sanskritist. He was composing Sanskrit poetry of his own. Kushakrat. So this is the direct processor in spiritual life. Even someone, was he in goodness when he joined? He's sleeping in the shoes. Was he in goodness?
Look like in the mode of ignorance.
But look at the end of the day. My guru used to say, don't consider when you join. The criteria is when you leave the body. This is the final exam. Tregunya Vishaya Veda. This Tregunya Bhava Arjuna. So, and of course, this is 1426. If you Avyabhacharini yoga, if you are engaged into unfailing bhakti as much as possible, it's not perhaps not overnight, but it was in one stroke, it will accomplish everything else. Nirgun, Brahmabhut, etc. Okay, I think unless you want to add up anything, anyone, Vignesh, Goloka.
Yeah. Prabhu, I had one question, last question on this verse 14.26. Krishna here talks about that we have to do avyabhicharina bhakti. By that we can transcend 3 modes and attain Brahman. The implication that I get is that only by Kevala Bhakti we can transcend the modes. But then previously Krishna also mentioned Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Dhyana Yoga, where there is element of bhakti, but it is not like avyabhicharini, right? It is not like unmixed with other aspects. It has some tinge of bhakti, but then still Krishna, I think, says that they also attain, right? They also can attain mukti. And mukti could mean that we have transcended modes. Of course, it could be different categories in mukti, like, we could go in like impersonal mukti, but still whenever we go outside this material covering of the universe, is it not that we have transcended the modes, even if we are not attained Golok?
Exactly. This is a very good point. 255, I remember Buddhism Prabhu used to tell us 255 can apply to devotees or non-devotees. Again, 255, Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Prajati Yadakaman Savanpartan Manugatam Atmanivamanya Tushto Stita Pragya Tadochate. When a man realizes that all interactions with the sense object are asat, non-grounded, it's not grounded. And when he finds himself in the self alone, he has given up all types of sense gratificatory processes, is stita pragya tadochate. is steeped in Stita Pragya. And Buddha used to tell us it can also apply to someone who, on his own, by his dint of his Ayura Krishna, you know the verse 10 to 32, by steep, very severe austerity, Ayura Krishna, by dint of very severe austerities, they become Brahma Bhuts. But the problem with that, you know the story, 10 to 32, Brahma is saying that Patanchadaha, Yushmat Angrayaha, they haven't clasped the lotus feet of the Lord. Thus, sooner or later, Patyantadaha, they're going to fall down again. Even though it may take millions of times to recover, they end up in the Brahman. They are totally beyond the modes. There's no anxiety even. Nothing. To get over that bliss of Brahmanand, it can take millions of years. But only the devotee can claim further, can dare to claim further. He said, no, I'm not satisfied. I have to exert my proclivity for bhakti. Chaitanya, chit. Well, I have to exert. What should I do? So that is why we go further. Vadanti tatadvavidas tajvam yajmamad brayam. We go further. Iran mayana patrina satyasya paitum mukam. We have to go further. And that's why the even the brand new ISKCON devotees, because he has connected with Bhagavan himself, even is a brand new. It's not Vijnanas yet. He's better situated than the other Brahmavad with 255, who is apparently in 255. He's no more engaged into sense gratification. The first fellow is better situated because it's a matter of time. You know, he's connected with Krishna. Krishna is going to help him out. Krishna 10:10. He's going to give him the intelligence. Even if he doesn't have much brain materially. If he doesn't give up, Krishna is not going to let him go. He's not going to let him go. The other fellow, Ayura Krishna, he may not be necessarily Krishna consciousness. He may not even be interested in reconnected with Krishna. So, you know, does it help?
Yes, Prabhu. So I was just going to the translation as well. Like Prabhupada was mentioning, like it's not there in the original Sanskrit, but he's mentioning that at once transcends the modes. I think it's clear that part as if that if we follow other process of yoga, it is a very gradual progression, and there is a chance of fall down. But here in Bhakti Yoga, it's like at once we can transcend the mode
yes, because remember the final. What is the final definition of pure bhakti? Anyabila, you know the verse. Anyabila shita shunyam jnana kama navritam anukriyana krishnanu shirana bhakti utama. So you may be a pure bhakta on the level of sadhaka, as a sadhaka, on the level of raganu, bhav, prem, etc. But even as a sadhaka, if you stick to this definition, 1111, bhakti rasamrita sindhu, you are a pure practitioner of sadhana bhakti. It doesn't mean you may not be harassed by your previous samskar. You know what I'm saying? By your previous conditioning, you may still be, they're lingering around still. So sometimes they harass you. But if you don't act upon it, you stick to Anyabila Shita Shunyam, Anukul, then Krishna Anushiranam, you favorably cultivate the seed of bhakti planted in your heart at initiation. Jnana karma, you don't let karma and gyan cover over your bhakti pursuits. You're a pure devotee. You're a pure devotee. The tendency, that's a very, how do you say? Devotees tend to confuse the two. Well, I still have vasanas. I still have lingering of remnants of vasanas bothering me. Thus, this is a very shortcut in their mind. Thus, I'm a Mishra Bhakta. No, be careful. You may be, as long as you stick to 1111 Anyabhilashita Shunyam, even though you may be still harassed by vasanas and samskar, as long as you stick to 1111, you're a pure devotee, you're a pure practitioner. Let's put it this way, you're a pure practitioner. And as you move through the ladder, Krita Sadhya, Sadhana, Sadhya Bhava, Sadhana Vida, you engage your senses, then it's going to reawaken Bhav. It's a matter of time. For some, it will take longer. For some, it will take lesser because they're more intense. That's for sure. But this is the criteria. If you stick to 1111, you're fine. You're a pure devotee. The problem is devotees, they tend to assimilate themselves to, well, I'm a Mishra Bhakta. We discussed in Kapil Dev, what is the definition of Mishra Bhakti according to Tamagun, Rajagun, and Sattvagun. Remember that? I don't know if I did it with you. Sattvagun means, okay, let's break it down. Sattvagun means you want to get free from this world. You're sick and tired. Your motive is no more Anukul Bhakti. Your motive is, I want to get free. I'm sick and tired of this place. I want to get free. Mukti. Then it's no more Krishna Anukul. It has shifted a little bit. Then Mishra Bhakti, influenced by Rajagun, then you want to get back at someone using the spectrum of Bhakti. You're using Bhakti to get back at someone. You want to do harm. Or you want to compete. You want to come out first. You want to make a show of Bhakti. I'm a good pujari, can't you see? I'm a good lecturer. You are using Bhakti as a means to self-aggrandizement. This is Mishra Bhakta in the mode of influenced by Rajagun. Tamagun would be even more harmful. That you're doing harm. You are using Bhakti. Look at Daksha. Daksha, remember? He's offending. He was even aloof with his own daughter, Sati. Lord Shiva told her, don't go to that meeting. It's going to be a lavish festival. Can you imagine? On the level of demigods, Prajapati.
Yeah.
Not ISKCON, it's big time. Don't go. You feel sorry for yourself big time. She went. She was much allured. Oh, I'll see my daughter, my sisters and all. It's going to be very festive. She went. Daksha offended his own daughter by insulting her own husband, Shiv. She was so much turned off, she burnt herself alive. So definitely, that was not Anyabhilashita Shunyam on the part of Daksha here. So he's himself a Prajapati, he's a Manasaputra of Lord Brahma. Can you imagine his position? Daksh means expert. He can beget progeny, he can beget species of life. He's beyond demigods. Still, this is not Anyabhilashita Shunyam. So a small, tiny devotee, if he sticks to Anyabhilashita, he is a pure sadhaka practitioner. And he just has to stick to that formula. And one day we will become, it may take a few lifetimes. Anatta-nivritti is there, we have to look at the 6 symptoms of Anishtita Bhakti. Ganatarala, those 6 are there. Niyamakshapa, Tarangarangini, they are preventing us from reaching to Bhakti, to Nishta. Okay, so anything else?
That's it.
Okay, so I think we we kind of
Fun.
drifted away a little bit, but what to do? Everything is interconnected. Isn't it?
Mhm.
So when he says, Srila Swami says that when he says, I'm Brahman, I'm the basis of Brahman, it means condensed. I'm the condensed Brahman. Krishna is the source of Brahman. Means it's condensed Brahman. It's not just the expansion of Brahman, Sarva Kavinam Brahma, is Svarochisha, you know, the elo, the effulgence, he himself is the condensed form of Brahman. This is the basis of Brahman.
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll stop here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so yeah. So let's see. I guess Chandra will do.
15.
Yeah. So, and of course, now we are in the third module. So don't forget your essays. You have chapter 15, 16, 17, 18. I say we're quite good also, Golok. I really like the story in Mauritius. It's not easy. Huh?
Yeah.
I mean, they had such a severe they were totally misguided. Huh?
Mhm.
You were saying, well, ISKCON is a prostitution house. I can't believe how much they are bewildered by ignorance. I mean,
Yeah.
just like in the early days, people are, oh, this is, be careful, this is CIA, you know, they are CIA agents. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a movie, you know. They're into a movie thing or something.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, I'll send you the recording. Huh?
Okay.
Hare Bol.